He forced me to quit my job. He had an affair. He abused me and our child. And when I finally kicked him out, he froze my bank accounts and told me, "The courts haven't ordered me to give you a dime." 4 years, he fought me on every cent of child support. But his greatest mistake was trying to take my kids from me. Because that one move triggered a chain of events that ended with me legally taking a massive chunk of his retirement fund, leaving his new fiancé blaming me for their failed marriage plans. He played a stupid game, and I made sure he won the stupidest prize of his life. If you believe that the best revenge isn't about anger, but about outsmarting your opponent within the system they thought they could manipulate, then you need to hear this story. Hit that like button, subscribe, and get ready for a masterclass in long-term, legal, and deeply satisfying payback. The first time he hit me, it was because I'd bought the wrong brand of cereal. The second time, it was because our firstborn, a beautiful baby girl, wouldn't stop crying. That was the moment the fog lifted. The fear was still there, a cold stone in my gut, but it was suddenly outweighed by a ferocious primal need to protect my child. I put him out that night. It was 2012. I was alone with a toddler and a 2-year-old, no job, no family nearby, and a bank account he was already working to drain. The financial abuse started immediately. "The courts haven't ordered me to give you a dime," he'd sneer over the phone, while I scrounged for change to buy milk. He lied to the bank, telling them I was committing fraud, and had our joint accounts frozen. I had to rely on food banks and the kindness of near strangers. The lowest point was when he assaulted me in the courthouse parking lot after I filed for divorce by default. The smell of his cheap cologne and the feel of his grip on my arm stayed with me for days. I felt a powerlessness so profound it was like drowning. Every day was a calculation. Which bill could I skip? How many meals could I make from a can of beans? The fear was a constant, humming background noise in my life. Finally, after 6 long months, a judge ordered him to pay $2,562 a month in child and spousal support. It was a lifeline. And he immediately yanked on it. He refused to pay. He dodged and delayed until the state finally garnished his wages. By then, he was already $6,000 in arrears. I used that debt as leverage to get permission to move away, to somewhere with a lower cost of living and a fresh start. A year after the divorce was final, I remarried a good man. A kind man. I checked the divorce decree carefully. There was a little box that said spousal support would terminate upon remarriage. It wasn't checked. It was an oversight. A clerical error that felt like a tiny victory. The spousal support was only meant to last 2 years anyway. I saw a choice. I could go after my share of his 401k, which I was entitled to, or I could just let it be and keep the spousal support he was already paying for that first year of my new marriage. It came to about $12,000. I decided to be fair. To take the smaller, simpler amount and leave his retirement alone. I thought it was a clean end. I was wrong. In 2017, out of the blue, I was served with papers. He was filing for sole custody of our kids. My blood ran cold. This wasn't about love for his children. He'd never shown much. This was about control. This was about punishment. It turned out he'd just discovered I'd remarried. And he'd found that unchecked box. He was furious that he'd paid me spousal support during that first year. He demanded every penny back. I sat across from him in mediation, my heart hammering against my ribs. I tried to be reasonable. "Look," I said, my voice steadier than I felt. "You paid me $12,000 in spousal support after I remarried. Instead of going after your 401k, I took that. Let me keep it, and I sign away any claim to your retirement. That's a fair trade." His eyes glinted with malice. "Not a chance. I want my money back." The judge ordered me to repay it. But in a small twist of justice, they also increased my child support and deducted the repayment from what he owed. In the end, the math was hilarious. I got an extra $20 a month, and he essentially repaid himself. He dropped his custody battle in exchange for 2 extra weeks in the summer, a hollow victory for him that he saw as a win. But he'd awakened something in me. A resolve that had been forged in fire. He'd shown me that there would be no peace. No fairness. So I decided to stop playing nice. I filed the paperwork to split his 401k. What followed was a 4-year legal war. He fought me on every single form, every deadline, every procedural step. He dragged it out, hoping I'd run out of money or willpower. But his contempt for the court system finally backfired. The judge sanctioned him. He was ordered to pay me $600 a month for a year, on top of his child support, for my legal fees. They charged him with contempt of court. The very system he'd tried to use to crush me was now turning on him. The final, beautiful twist came in May of 2021. The disbursement finally came through. I won't say the exact amount, but it was about 4 times the amount of that spousal support overpayment. A life-changing sum of money. Enough to secure my kid's future. I had no idea his retirement was that large. All he had to do was nothing. All he had to do was let me keep that $12,000, and I would have never known. But his greed, his need to punish me, cost him exponentially more. The cherry on top? He had proposed to his girlfriend in January. That May, when that money left his account, the wedding was off. I recently got an email from his now ex-fiancé. She blamed me. It's your fault he won't marry me. You stole his money. You cleaned out his retirement. I wrote back, calmly. I explained that her fiancé had been given a choice. Let me keep a little, or I would take a lot. He chose the latter. I told her if he really wanted to marry her, they could get a pre-nup. Her response was perfect. I shouldn't have to sign a pre-nup because you robbed him. He thought he could bully me. He thought he could use the courts to terrorize me and take my children. Instead, his own spite and arrogance led him to hand me the key to his financial ruin. I didn't rob him. I simply collected what the court said was mine, after he spent 4 years and thousands of his own dollars trying to stop me. The revenge wasn't just in the money. It was in the sheer poetic justice of it all. He was defeated by his own worst instincts. They say living well is the best revenge. I disagree. The best revenge is living securely, knowing the person who tried to destroy you was ultimately destroyed by their own hand, while you followed the rules and won. If that ending was as deeply satisfying for you as it was for me, then do the channel a huge favor. Hit that like button, and let us know in the comments, what's the most satisfying karma through the legal system story you've ever heard? And of course, subscribe for more stories of revenge that's not just sweet, but financially prudent.